It's not like I'm some anti-realtor, like, oh, I don't want to pay a commission, because you look at I have agents call every day that they're saying, is this right, what you're offering for commission? Yeah, it's right. But it's because we don't have to pay two sides.
Yeah.
And not only that, like, the more that you give out, the better agents you're going to attract, and the more excited they're going to be to bring them to your product. I used to be the opposite of that. I used to be like, oh no, I don't want to
Yeah.
spend an extra 1,500 on it. Like, who cares? Because that 1,500 is going to turn into 50 extra closings.
All right, guys, welcome again to another amazing episode. Today we have Brock Holliman. He is the founder of Holiiman Capital Group. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're 28 right now and have a decade of experience in real estate and construction. And that we find that was the first thing that stood up in your bio. We find that incredible. Congrats for starting at such an early age.
The crazier part, I'm rounding up a little bit. Okay, I'm actually 20, so I'll be 28.
Okay.
That's even better.
Yeah,
man.
Next week.
Even better.
I'm just trying to put a cherry on top. Okay.
Yeah. Well, happy early birthday, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good
So
birthday gift.
yeah. So a little bit more about the introduction. Brock has done over 100 million in successful closed real estate transactions, and like I said, he focuses on real estate and construction. So we're gonna dive in, and Brock, if you could just tell us a little bit, 10 years of experience. That means you started pretty early, man. So tell us, what does it take to, at that age, get into the real estate game, and specifically development? I mean, that's pretty intense to get into.
Well, it's been a long road, and I'll say I was a little blessed. Well, not a little blessed, a lot of blessed along the way. My family kind of was in the construction industry growing up, so I always would go out on the job sites as a young one. So it kind of felt like a familiar place, to be on a construction site. But then, as I kind of was at the senior year in high school, the market was kind of at the bottom of the pits. It was in the like 2010, 2011. And yeah, my job then, I worked at IHOP, and then I started mowing some yards for the banks, their foreclosure properties, and thinking, man, okay, I'm making $40 every time I show up over here. It'd be nice to, get in on some of these vacant properties. I mean, I'm still in high school, but at the same time, it's very interesting. So I was always more, I was more interested in real estate and construction than really anything in school. So, I didn't go to school that much, skipped a lot. And in those times that I was skipping, I would go down to like the county courthouse auctions and check out the foreclosure sales. I had lawn maintenance money, and so didn't have any money to really buy properties, but they'd give you 24 to 48 hours to pay for the bids on those properties at the time. Now you got to bring cashier's checks to most auctions, but so I would just have to hustle after that, go to the public records, find out who the hell's buying over there, and give them a killer deal, and just scrape a little bit, $1,000, $2,000 the house. I'd even be okay sometimes with $500, but it kind of just started from there. And as the market evolved, I evolved, went from just selling the bids to going and doing some light rehabs, then started doing some more gut rehabs. And then as the prices got high enough to make it mean anything to build and sell, because construction costs back then, it would cost more to construct a house than it would to just go buy a used one. You could go buy double the house, and if you just build one, so it made no sense. But as the prices came back, building made more sense. So I wanted to get into that. My father was a builder, so I put together a little deal with a hedge fund back then to buy some build to rents. This was back in 2014, and the prices back then, just looking, it's crazy. These were I'm talking brand new houses. We were selling them they were 2,400 square feet, granite countertops, all brick houses. This was in Memphis, Tennessee, for like they were 168,000. That was the first batch. And I mean, it's crazy. They were getting, $1,700 a month in rent. So, so just as times went on, that was the first of many. Here we are, many years later, not many, I guess 5 years, 6 years later, and I'm in Florida. It feels like a long ass road. Okay,
because you've been hustling the whole time. So
the whole time, man.
Yeah. So you mentioned something pretty big there, and you mentioned, you reached out to a hedge fund, or, just because what we like to do here is we like to focus on mainly commercial and multifamily, but we like to tie it back into processes and systems and how people actually something actionable for people listening. So,
for sure.
Can you explain to us a little bit that process of you reaching out to a hedge fund, or did you already know somebody? How did that work?
Man, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. There's no hedge fund anywhere close. Okay. So if you want to talk to a hedge fund and you're in Memphis and that's all the whole contacts, your whole role. Up phone. And thankfully, I grew up at a time, we all grew up at a time, us three, not all the listeners, but where the internet is available. And you have two options. You can use the internet for Instagram and Facebook, just sliding through and messaging your friends or checking out, the photos of everybody, or you can use it as a tool and track down the people that you need to be talking to get to where you want to go. And that's what I decided to do. I mean, you'll see, I'm trying to get my social media back, just going, but I'm overviewing everying and kind of managing it, but I've got some people that help me out with it, and we're trying to ramp that up a bit. But at the same time, if you're really kicking ass out there, excuse my language. Sorry. I know.
No, you're good. You're good, man.
And then, you're not going to be scrolling down the news feed on the Facebook all day, looking at your friends. You're not going to find any money in there. You're not going to find any deals in there. Yeah. And if you do, then I guess you have good network already, right? You can find your deals right there. That's one of the many tools. And then you just got to, it takes practice as far as just don't be afraid of rejection. Pick up the phone, and call. If they don't like the deal, guess what? We're in the United States where there's more capital than anybody knows what to do with. There's more hedge funds. There's more smart businessmen and women, and you can pick up the phone and go right to the next one. There's always somebody else that you can call. So you just can't be discouraged. Yeah.
That is great. So just pick up the phone, call a hedge fund, ask for somebody, hey, you have a deal. Can I present it to someone, and keep calling until someone says yes?
That's it. Every time you'll get better, especially if you take notes, record yourself, or, it's never, you're never too advanced to have a script to come back to, Yeah. You never I did it today. And you can't just think that you're too, high up to go back to a script, because it's always good to go back to the basics. You don't see Kobe Bryant out there after the game. He's not, I'm too good to shoot free throws. You know what I mean? So it's the same. It's the same thing. All the greats, they all have to have a baseline. They go back to home base, and you can't ever think that you're too good for it. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't picture. So I'm trying to picture this 17-year-old kid, trying to make it into real estate. Who got you? And I know you were mowing lawns and all that stuff, but who got the idea in your head of, hey man, you probably could be doing this, or did you just automatically kind of saw the opportunity on those empty homes?
Well, man, and I don't want to get ashamed or anybody to get mad at me for saying this. Okay. But even growing up, like my favorite book growing up was The Art of the Deal. Okay. And it's a great book. And you can have two views of looking at it. One is, okay, it's a bunch of baloney. And the other is, okay, there's some substance here. And I did some substance here. And I'm still in high school. This was my favorite book. So it kind of led me down that road. And then like, I felt like, okay, my father's in construction, his father's in construction. Like maybe he started in New York City and I'm in Memphis, but why can't anybody, we're all people here. Why can't we just try to take some path like this? And it's real estate is just like I didn't go to college. Real estate is one of those things out there that you don't need to be some, big scholar to make it. Like you just got to have hustle. You got to be able to pick it up and learn it and just apply what you learn and what you screw up on. I mean, those were where you learn the biggest things is making a mistake and just taking those mistakes and learning from it and applying that in the next deal. And if you're hustling enough, that next opportunity is going to present itself before you know it,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we get that, man. Usually the best deals come after you close the recent one. So,
Yeah.
And they show up and they're even better than what the one you closed on. So no, I'm
sure.
tracking. So, what do you suggest for, cause I think you already had that mindset. Like you didn't need anyone to point you in anything. Like you were self-driven, and that most people aren't like that, right? Like most people don't wake up at 18 or in high school and say, I want to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, or I want to read The Art of the Deal. Well, most young adults at that age are, I don't know, going out to party and doing everything else. And I'm not saying you didn't, but
okay.
But what would you suggest? What would you suggest? Young adults, early 20s, to do and to get in the game.
Yeah, there's so many tools out there, man. I can't honestly. I don't remember the last time I actually read a physical book. Although I've read, it's in the 20s this year. I'm behind on my goal because I wanted to average one a week, but it doesn't look like I'm going to hit it. Okay, now I'm like admitting defeat on the air. That's great. Okay, but yeah, audio books, man. Like you can't.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a generational thing.
Yeah, I think so. And well, my mother's into it too. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, so audio books, podcasts. I mean, I'll tell you, YouTube. I've learned so much on YouTube. It's insane, and it's just like another one of those things. You can choose all these. You can choose podcasts on stupid stuff, or you can choose podcasts like this, where you actually can tune in and learn something that's worth $1 million that's free,
Yeah,
and that's what YouTube is too, man. I mean, I call it, when people say, where'd you go to school? I say YouTube University. Because I mean, seriously, if you don't know anything, just look it up. It's there. I mean, there's no excuses nowadays. So I think that is the number one tool to tell people to use. That Bigger Pockets is great. Spend as much time on Bigger Pockets as you do on, TikTok, then maybe something positive will come up, right?
Yeah, completely agree, man. That's great stuff.
That's amazing. So when you say your father was in construction, did he have his own company or was he just a construction employee?
A little bit of both. So it was the latter at first, and then as time's gone, just like everybody in life is, step up, step up, step up. Same with him. So then it went from that to, okay, then I'm gonna build like 5, 6, 7 houses for myself this year, and blah blah blah, and so on and so on, and did a great job providing everything. Taught everything. I wouldn't be anywhere near I am right now without.
Are you guys partner?
Yeah, we are now. We split up after that. We did that hedge fund deal. Then after that, I created a little bit of attention for how young I was, and had people convinced that I was a great builder, and built a couple hundred of them, and then came on down to Florida after a little parade around the East Coast and a little bit of the West Coast, and my parents were down here, and we found a good area where the model still worked here. It's hard to do with how prices are going up in a spot like this, but we found a couple areas and we make it work. We started here last year and we only did 19. we only did 19 new construction build and flips. And now this year we're over, I think we're over 70, which is cool. And now we've, as long as things go good, like I think they will, then we're really starting to ramp up. It's awesome. Like over the last few months, we've hired a lot of people. They're doing great. And, the manuals that we put in place that's the key, is just having a system for people to follow. But anyway, I'm rambling on now. So
no, that's great stuff, man. So let me ask you this: when was your transition moment where you started your capital group? Right? I mean, you didn't start that from the beginning. You said you had your hedge fund deal, and then after that, how did that happen?
Well, the hedge fund thing, it was more like I got a rude way to say it, but it was like I'm just bouncing around. Okay. Whoever I get the best deal with on my hedge funds, I build good relationships with the managers or the acquisition managers of these funds. Sometimes the owners, and these are large companies, publicly traded, a few of them, and I'll just want to be their go-to guy. But they know, like, I don't know if y'all got a chance to check out my actual product on my website, but
I did.
It's really a top-notch product when you're talking about rental property, or really, I mean, a lot of new construction, starter family homes. I mean, it's really better than any retail product in the market around here. But it's really nice stuff. And when they underwrite their deals that, okay, we're going to get $1,575 a month in rent for this property, because our other old one down the street's getting $1,525 for the same size. And then I over exceed because my stuff looks so good that they're getting $1,700. They're like, wow, because this does big numbers to their bottom line. I mean, especially if they compare their markets and like who they're buying from, builder wise and all that. So they really love working with. They really love working with us. And but when this coronavirus stuff happened, they kind of just pumped the brakes, and they're still a little bit cautious on it. But hell, I would be too if I had 50,000 houses. I mean,
yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes total sense, man. But
it does seem like they're coming back up a little bit. It's starting to start a little bit back up with the funds, which is good.
Now, for our audience, can you describe your product so they can go and be like, okay, cool, this is what they're talking about?
Yes, for sure. So build to rent is what we do. We build brand new construction, residential. For the majority, our bread and butter is going to be a single family home. And we do the same exact floor plan. But when I say that, like, don't think cookie cutter, because it looks far from it when you actually see it in photos or take a virtual tour. But we do the same floor plan for simplicity, and because we know that it works and it's very desirable. If we get some kind of a market trend change, then we'll change stuff up. But we look at surveys. We're very active as far as what the communities want. So we keep it 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, because we stay in suburbs, which are, they're primarily family communities. 4 bed, 2 baths. So we make sure that we maximize the rent, because when you're building a new home, it's cheap to add a 4th bedroom. It's expensive to add another bathroom, because when you do a bathroom, even though it's smaller, you're adding plumbing, cabinets, tops, and everything you all know. But when you add a bedroom, not that much more money. So it's very smart to add a 4th bedroom in your plan. We keep it very open layout. We don't want to cram it down with 8-foot ceilings. We have raised ceilings. We do things like all of our countertops are quartz countertops, white quartz, beautiful. All of our kitchens we have gray islands, and it's 2-tone. I mean, it looks like really nice. And then white shaker cabinets. Everything's hardwood. We call it tenant proof, even though nothing's tenant proof. But I think you hear other people calling it tenant resilient. I'm going to just say proof because it sounds better. Okay. But we have all tile flooring, concrete block house. We don't not want to make an extra $75 a month cash flow and build a wood frame house when your main money maker on buying these kind of investments is going to be in the appreciation, especially when you have people flocking here from California, New York. I mean, by the busloads with all that California money. Okay.
Yeah.
All that New York money.
We grow it in trees.
Yeah. I think you do. You have money trees out there.
And then the wildfires is.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Oh, you're terrible, man. Oh man. But yeah, y'all keep bringing the money down here. I mean, we don't tax you on it, so that's good. You can bring it, you can keep it, and you can spend it in our economy because we have a great one. Okay.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Everything's cheap down here compared to out there. I remember I was living in New York City, and I used to be a smoker. Okay, yeah, shame on me. And cigarettes over there were like $17, $18 a pack. And I moved there from Memphis and they were like $5. Anyway, I quit when I moved to New York, which was a good thing. That was one good thing that came out of moving to New York. I quit smoking. So
you quit because it's too much fun. Well, that's good, man. So you mentioned, you're more into residential than commercial, but so can you walk us through maybe one of your latest deals as far as the, picking out the lot, construction, development, what challenges, what tips can you give us from there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm kind of transitioned over the last I say few months, but really a lot over the last 30 days. So everything that we've got is documented, like all of our systems. And it's really cool because like 95% of this stuff can be replicated, which is what we're about to do. Because we have two other areas that we're about to start doing the same thing in, which is exciting. And like I said, 95% of the stuff is replicated with, I don't have any laying around here, but I've got a ton of binders and everything's all on Google Drive in case we lose one. Or one of my houses catch on fire. So we have it all on Google Drive. It's very easy for anybody to get out of it this day or not be able to show up for work today. And you can just pop right in and start following along. Not that easy, but very simple.
Yeah.
So that we've got somebody that works in the office that handles all the ordering, scheduling and all that, and all the software scheduling. Which is neat. Then we have somebody else that helps with the property management, in-house rentals, works hand in hand with me. Everybody works hand in hand with me. So the rental side, as soon as we get to block stage, they hit the market on the rentals so we can have them pre-leased, which over 70% of our builds are pre-leased. When we get our certificate of occupancy, we're moving somebody in within the next day or two. So that's always cool. And then we have somebody out in the field, construction manager, project manager, and now he's got his own assistant, which the way that we kind of shaped that role is the project manager treats his project manager assistant sort of not only as an assistant, but more of a trainee. So they're learning everything and they can actually move up, kind of like a pyramid scheme. Yeah. So I'm just getting out of pyramid scheme.
Well, that's what every job is. So
it really is. Yeah, that's the bad part. But yeah, so that's all good. And now over the last couple of weeks, you mentioned lot buying. How do we find the lots? So I had actually like a total binder just on lots. So it's very difficult down here in Florida, and you have to be very careful on wetlands, flood zones, public utilities. Do what? Sinkholes. Well, yeah, thankfully you don't see many of those. Okay.
Oh, okay. In that area. Okay. No, I'm just thinking Tampa. I remember Tampa back in the day. It was like sinkholes in the news everywhere.
I know there was like one year where there was like a bunch of them. And I think it was when I just started to move down here. I was like, where the hell am I going? Hope I don't fall through one of these things. But yeah, no, I personally have not seen one, which is cool. I don't care to see one. But no, it's strange. Like I know a guy that got fined $40,000 for building because there were a special kind of turtle and a bird on the lot. And we're talking like a small, well, I guess kind of small, like less than a quarter acre lot. We're not talking like some development, and they're getting fined like this kind of. It's so you have to be very knowledgeable and particular on what you're actually going to buy. And so that's all in the binder to kind of let the acquisition guy that we just hired, let him kind of know what exactly to call on. And besides that, I have my real estate license. So I just download lists of all the vacant lots that I want in my subdivision code that I'm needing. And we just cold call, man. We cold call. Yeah.
Sweet. So do you recommend having your license? You think that's valuable?
Yeah. And it's not like I'm some anti-realtor, like, oh, I don't want to pay a commission, because you look at I have agents call every day that they're saying, is this right, what you're offering for commission? Yeah, it's right. But it's because we don't have to pay two sides. And not only that, like, the more that you give out, the better agents you're going to attract, and the more excited they're going to be to bring them to your product. I used to be the opposite of that. I used to be like, oh no, I don't want to spend an extra $1,500 on it. Like, who cares? Because that $1,500 is going to turn into 50 extra closings.
Yeah, and so you when you go to list or anything or do a transaction with a broker, you don't take a commission. You just give whatever the full percentage of the listing to one agent, right? And that helps build that relationship, like you're saying, right?
Yeah, for sure. And they find a nice deal that comes on their desk, who they're going to think about the guy that's been putting more money in their pocket,
Yeah.
So,
that's a great strategy, man. That's great. Yeah, because you hear a lot of people say, hey, of course you don't need a license, but until now, I really hadn't heard anyone say that specifically as far as a strategy with a license. But I've heard a lot of people say don't have a license, like it's a waste of time. But I think you just show right there, like, hey, you can find a way to make it worthwhile if you do have a license.
And we're active as hell, man. Like, I see lots come up on the market. If they're out on the market, like when we started this podcast, I might have already had an offer on it. And like, I'm sitting here on the thing and you're recording me and you're thinking, when did he write that offer? But that's how active we are. And when they come up and you got competitors in the area that, they can't afford to pay more than $28,000 for a lot, right? I can afford to pay $29 because they're giving, or $30 because they're giving me $2,000 commission. And not only that, on the back end, maybe I give out a lot more than what any of these other agents are going to get off of another listing. But at the same time, I'm not giving out the same that I would if I was going to go hire an agent. I'm going to still save 1% there. And it sounds 1% big deal. But at the same time, that adds up over 70 transactions. And now next year, we've got to do 300. We have to do 300. So you have me on in a year. And if I don't do 300, just, stone me. Okay.
We'll call you back.
Yeah. Hey, man, you didn't hit your mark.
I got a better hit. You're right.
But we hope you do, man. We hope you do.
No, yeah. And even then, 300, if you fail, you're going to hit like 250. What the hell? Like, oh, I'm so sad that you hit 250. No,
I better not hit 250. I better hit 350.
Awesome.
But man, that's great info. German, what do you have?
So I got a question, man. We in the multifamily sector, we're talking about COVID during and what's coming up. The opportunities that we see coming up after, after everything becomes back to, let's say, normal. In your sector, construction and buying lots and single families in turnkey, right? What do you guys see? What opportunities do you guys see after COVID?
Oh boy!
Or during COVID?
Yeah, I guess we are.
Well, let's say in the next few months, what do you see opening up? What's the scuttlebutt?
I think this. Okay, I think for the next. I think a lot is, and hopefully I'm wrong on this. I think a lot is relying on this election as far as our space. And if you're a real estate investor, and like I said, this is the second time out, don't mean to get political. Okay. If you're a real estate investor and you're voting for Sleepy Joe Biden, then you must not understand what he said, because they want to strip all these tax policies away. They want to make up. We know that Trump paid $750 in tax. I'd be ashamed that he paid that much, honestly, with the tax advantages that you can get, right?
He overpaid.
Yeah, he overpaid, as far as I'm concerned, because I know what you can depreciate those big ass buildings for. And there, it's we can't get that away, and it's going to backfire extremely bad in their face if they try to do this, because us as real estate investors, what do they think we're going to do? We're just going to give over our property to the state? Hell no, we're raising our rents. We got to make up for what we did. And it's not because we don't like the people, or we want to make affordable housing a bigger issue. It's because we do this to make a living and provide for our families, not to give free housing out and get taxed to the moon on it. So yeah, I do. I think that this has a particularly higher importance on what I think for the next few months. But back over the last 6 months, I mean, yeah, when all this stuff happened, I mean, we were on track we were going to do 200 this year. It kind of stopped us dead in our tracks. I did have we've been working a lot out of pocket, but I had some financing lined up and just signed a nice line of credit, and they withdrew it the day before we were about to draw on it. And once we drew on it, it was over. Yeah. The bad thing is I had everything, all the cash out of pocket, sitting out on different lots because I was counting on this cash to come in and help fund construction. So you had to be really creative, because I would be damned if I'm going to have anybody show up on the job and not get paid if I can do anything to fight and help make that happen. So we had to do a lot of chess moves to make it all work out, and just kind of bridge a couple months together until lending kind of opened back up. Investors quit with everybody getting nervous and all that, and then you started realizing, okay, people in America are actually going to spend this money on their rent. That was great, because down here the numbers were awesome. I know a lot of places the numbers were great. People were paying their rents, but I did see some bad numbers out there too. I don't know how y'all's experience was. Was it bad?
Well, I mean, we got hit a little bit, but we got lucky that most of our guys were Section 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
So we were solid. Our issue has been with financing, finding financing. Like you said, money dried up. I mean, and we try to find, and I mean, it's pretty hard right now. So, and then, like I told you, the deals are, just compressed cap rates, especially in Florida and Tampa. I mean, so we don't know. We rely on our mentors' experience, as far as, they've had 15, 20 years of seeing market cycles, and, they think we're at a peak. Do you think we're at a peak? They think the next few months, Q1, we're going to see a downslope.
I wouldn't be surprised in a sense, like we just talked about. Okay, only because if you start throwing those real estate laws in there, there's become so many real estate investors over the last few years since we went to a bottom last time. The thing that nobody really talks about here is the fact that you have rates at around, let's just say 3%. Okay. And 2007, those rates were around 7%. So people they were making bad loans back then, but at the same time, they were making some of their payments. All right. So, I mean, that's technically, if we're at the same prices as 2007, as far as residential real estate, and interest rates are half off, then everybody's payments kind of half off. I think there's room to run just looking at it based on that alone, and the fact that you see that 3%, and back at 7%, you dropped. If you dropped 70 bits, you dropped. What's wrong with that? That's one. You dropped 10%, right? So you dropped 10%. Now you drop 30 bits. You drop 10%, right? And when you go drop 10%, then your mortgage payment drops 10%. And the psychology on human beings is not how much am I paying for the contract price, it's how much is my monthly payment.
Yeah.
And when that can still get compressed, and now it's like at a rate of, like I just said, 30 bips now. If you drop 70 bips now, what is that? That's 25%, right? So, or so it's you know what I'm saying, it can really snowball and become a rapid inflation just as quick as it could take a dip, in my opinion, because I see the material prices and the labor prices in the construction industry. Like if you see, I was selling the same exact house for $195 a year ago. I'm making less today selling it for $225. Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
And my land cost has only gone up around $6,000. So
is there materials?
My materials are skyrocketing. Look at the lumber charts. I mean, look, there's been a shortage of materials. There's been a shortage of workforce because they shut all the plants down. And I mean, now you're seeing it happen. I mean, I don't know. I don't ever look at the prices in the grocery store, but on the way home today, I had to pick up some toilet paper, and I don't know. I thought it was high as hell. Okay, I thought it was $8.50 for a 4-pack, and I don't know. Is that high? Maybe
I think it is. I think
you're in California. It's probably like 30.
I don't know. I usually buy bulk at Costco, so I don't know.
That's where I should have gone, but it was Walgreens. So that's probably why I got ripped off. But,
Oh yeah, Walgreens is expensive, man. Yeah,
just trying to get in and get out, man.
No, I hear you, man. Well, man, Brock, dude, this was you gave us so much. We really appreciate it. Let me unless my brother has another question. Do you, German?
No, man.
I wanna give you the opportunity to tell our audience where they can find you, and what you can offer them.
Yeah, for sure. So we find us on the social media sites, Instagram. Which other ones are? I told you I wasn't good with the the social. Facebook. Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Holiiman Capital Group. That's HOLLIMAN Capital Group. And then you can find us online. Our website is HoliimanCapitalGroup.com, and check it out. Seriously, check our website out. It was me that built it, if you could believe it. Okay. And yeah, it was on Squarespace. Yeah, whatever. But still, it was it looks pretty damn good.
It looks pretty good, man. I was checking it out, and I was clicking through all the different layouts that you have there, and I was like, man, this is pretty nice. Looking at you had some new condos. I like the
we have some townhouses. Yeah, we didn't have enough time, man. We need to do this again sometime. But yeah, we do have some townhouses that are fun, that are going to be done here pretty soon. Debating on keeping those, probably leaning towards keeping them and just refi them. I just got to make sure I find the right financing, because we have another 14 right behind it. So that's fun.
Nice.
Cool for us. And so HoliimanCapitalGroup.com. Go on there and you can sign up as an investor and look at all of our cash flow sheets. You can even look at our floor plans and all that stuff. See our available inventory if anybody's interested. I know y'all are big on the multi, but if anybody wants to take a step back, okay, with the singles, then we're here in Florida with the build to rents.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, man, and for our listeners. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and give it a 5-star review and show us some love. We appreciate it. Yeah,
everybody should have enjoyed it, because this is one of the most fun episodes that we have. You're awesome.
Man, I had a good time with you guys. Yeah, seriously.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome, man. So I'm gonna stop recording here.
All right.